So we're having a family meeting about the COVID-19 in our plan. I had planned on having just an informal family meeting, but a particular family meeting insisted that it be formalized and that we do this officially. So yes, I got up and I made a PowerPoint for my family. So it's going to be broken up into different topics. There's one topic that I didn't get a chance to put on here before everybody woke up this morning, but I will actually talk about it, and I can add it later so that you have the resource. We're going to start with social distancing. It would really be helpful if the audience didn't laugh and giggle while I did this. We're going to start with social distancing and talk about what is it and why are we doing this. So I know we've talked about it a lot over the week, but I wanted to write it down so we all had the information. So first of all, friends. No friends over to the house. We're going to meet for outdoor activities only. You need to try and stay somewhere between 3 and 4, even 6 feet from other people. No friends in your vehicles, no sharing water bottles or food. Basically say, hi friend, from across the room, and that's about the most you can do. Try not to touch your face when you are around other people. You don't want to get things into your throat or into your nose. You're going to hand sanitize during and after the activity, and when you get to the house, you're going to wash your hands in a really, really effective way. And you will also, if you had anyone around your vehicle or around your things, you're going to need to wipe them down with a Clorox wipe. Let them sit. It's not an instant kill. It takes a little while for the Clorox to actually do its job. So wipe it down, set it aside, okay? Or you can Lysol. You want to set it outside, spray it down with Lysol, and then leave it to dry. That is also an effective way of killing any viruses. Wash your hands thoroughly and wipe things down. We're doing this not for us necessarily, but also for everybody else. We have elderly neighbors that we're helping out. You guys, being young, are just a factory for this virus. So if you pick it up, you may not even notice, and if you go out and do your normal life because, hey, I'm young, I'm not going to die, then you could end up infecting other people who can't fight it off. So that's the point, is keeping us safe, but keeping everybody else safe as well. It's not fun, and it's not easy, but it's necessary. So, when you're in public, like if you go to the grocery store, or if we go somewhere else to pick up a sandwich if we're out and about, because when we go or do our social distancing road tripping type stuff, you still want to keep away from others. So don't walk up right next to somebody on the aisle, right next to them, and start looking at the same thing. If there's somebody looking at that canned food, stay back, let them move forward, and then you can go up to that aisle. It's the same sort of thing. Don't touch your face. Limit destinations and the people going out. If we're going to go to the grocery store, we're not all four going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to the grocery store, or Daddy will. One person. And then wipe down or leave the items to sit. I don't know if you've noticed, we put most of our stuff in the refrigerator. Then the other items, we put them all away. They're sitting. Nobody's touching them. That gives the virus time to die on the surface. If we get packages, we're letting them sit for a day or two to make sure that if there's virus there, it can die on the surface. We don't necessarily need to wipe down and spray down everything, but we just need to not immediately mess with it. And then touch our face. Don't touch your face. Help others when you can, but keep your distance. So if you see somebody who needs help, you can help them, put it in their cart or whatever, and then step away. You know, that sort of thing. And when you do go to the grocery store, if you happen to go to the grocery store for me, or if you happen to go help film dances for your dance studio, make sure that at the grocery store they have wipes. Wipe down your cart. Hand sanitizer. The other day there were no wipes. I grabbed hand sanitizer. I rubbed it on my hands. I rubbed it on the cart, and then I let it dry. The alcohol-based hand sanitizer is going to kill the stuff on the surface. So that's what we're doing. So the fun one, education. Let's talk about what we're going to do. Now, the first important thing to know is we are hoping this is for 2 weeks. There are districts and states who have shut down their schools for the rest of the year. I'm hoping that doesn't happen here. We're doing all of these things so it doesn't happen here. But this 2-week stint is to prepare you in case it is for the rest of the year. So this is step 1 into having to social distance for the rest of the school year. So GISD has an actual page for distance learning now. The link is here. You will have access to this presentation afterwards, so you can use the links. You can go explore the site and find activities that interest you. And we'll have a discussion or demonstration about what you learned at the end of the day, however you want to do it. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you assignments. I just want you to go use your brains. You have nice, big, smart brains. I want them to be used. Khan Academy has an example of a typical day for a middle schooler and a high schooler. We're not going by the typical day, but they have some really good links in there for activities and learning sites. So I put that one on there as well. For Emily, there is a way to link your PSAT from the College Board to Khan Academy so that you can get more targeted practice on the things that you needed to practice, which I thought was really good. So I can help you get that linked up. And Will, for your AP, on the AP College Board site, there's actually a tab at the top that says coronavirus, and it will walk you through what they're doing and how they're doing this for you to be able to take your one AP test that you have. There will be a lecture starting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I don't know if it's going to be 5 days a week or not, but this coming Wednesday from 6 to 6, so 5 to 5:45, there's a lecture that will be structured 75% review, 25% new material. You can watch it live, which you ought to try one live because sometimes you actually have the opportunity to ask questions and have interaction with the presenter when you log in live, or you can watch it on demand afterwards. And then they also have information about how and when you're going to be able to take your test. So there is a links page at the end that has a ton of resources that I found for you guys, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what my expectations are for this. So, next steps. First of all, you both have some schoolwork that's outstanding. You have some slides, you have violin, and I think you probably just had normal homework. Just go get it done, turn it in, just so that's off your plate. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's better to just get it done. If you can. If it's not something you can get done because you're not at the school or you're not with the class, okay. But if you have open items left on your list that were true school assignments, go complete them, please. So that's step one. I want you to explore the resources that we're going to look at so that you can learn, so you can figure out what you want to learn. If you go tour the Louvre, you might want to look at the history of the museum or look at that artist. What is their type of art? When were they around? What was the artist's life? You might want to look at where is it located and talk about that country. But I want you to go do something and then learn about it. And whether you talk to me about it, have a really intelligent conversation about it, where I can tell you actually dug into it, whether you want to create a presentation about it, because I know you love making presentations, whether you want to explore the art piece of it, or you want to explore the science piece of it. I don't care. I just want you doing something. And it's not just that. Brain Pop has actual lessons plans. They have topics that interest you, and I can work with you on lesson plans. A lot of them are game-based, which are really cool. And it has math and science as well as language arts and such. And then like the National Parks Tour, if you wanted to go on a National Parks Tour, great. You can talk about the park. You could also tell me, okay, if we wanted to take a trip there. Now, obviously the airfares are going to be a little odd right now, but you could go look up how long would it take us to get there if we drove? How much gas would it be? And to turn it into a math exercise to where if we wanted to take a trip to one of these parks, what is it going to cost us? Even if we wanted to maybe go to Canada, plan a vacation, plan some activities for us to do. All of that just keeps your brain active. So it's not typical school, but it's still things that are going to be useful. I'd like you to find math, science, language, arts activities for each day. Now, I will talk about the schedule in a minute, and it's obviously flexible. You can link Khan Academy and PSAT for your targeted practice, and then we talked about your AP connection there. So, extras, because you both have extras, it's instruments and dance. I want the instruments and the dance to continue because that's where your passions lie and that's where your stress relief is for both of you. So here's how we're going to handle that. Music for Will. We've already come up with you're going to go to your piano lesson because that's a one-on-one and she's going to take precautions. And your guitar lesson is already going to be over Google Duo or Skype or something. I do want you to practice your violin music from school. If you get to go back, you're going to need to be ready to perform. So you do need to practice that. It'd be great if you were interested in something, if you find new violin music that you want to learn, whether it's fiddle, whether it's whatever it is. If you find it, we can get the music for you to learn. You can listen to it online. Just explore something new with the instrument that you already know. I would like to hear an hour a day, and that is a 1. This is a really bizarre font, but 1 hour per day of music. I don't care how you break it up. If you get really into a guitar groove and you spend an hour on your guitar, great. But I do want to hear all 3 instruments. I don't want you to neglect one for the other. So I just need to hear more music. You're going to have a lot more time on your hands. So that's what I want to hear, is more of the things that I know are part of you. And then Emily, I'm saying at least 2 hours a day of strength, stretch, whatever.
I'm allowed to do more though?
You are allowed to do more, yes. Your studio is going to post videos, but I've already seen a couple of other families, and I can easily post out there, hey, what are some great videos that you guys are finding for ballet, for hip hop, for jazz, to just try new things, like kind of like when we go to convention.
Yeah.
Same thing. If you need tap, we have boards. Hi, Jenny.
Also, the deck works really well for tap.
Okay, so you can go outside and tap. Find a new tap style that you want to try, and take a laptop outside and set it up, and we'll figure that out. But I do want to see you continuing to dance and keeping up your strength and your flexibility. Mm-hmm. And then you also need to practice the choreography that you already have. In case you get to do your recital, you need to remember it. In case you get to do a competition as we approach the end of the semester, you need to remember it.
Am I still having privates with Miss Brandy?
No, studio is closed.
Completely.
There is no activity going on. So,
okay.
There's nothing going on. So, those are the extras. So, here's what I envision for a typical schedule. A typical schedule. Bedtime no later than midnight. I don't want y'all to get upside down on your schedules and then have to try and go back to school. So, bedtime no later than midnight, awake by 10. Okay, that gives you 10 hours of sleep, or, at the most, which is all you don't need more than that, so you're fine. Learning activities for 3 to 4 hours a day. That's going to include watching, participating, creating, talking to me about it, just a chunk. And I gave a typical here. Your lecture's 45 minutes, and then you would have 15 minutes of practice questions. If you wanted to tour a museum and do some SAT questions and there's some cool chemistry, actual chemistry, that's AP chemistry stuff out there. I saw stoichiometry and I went, whoa, there's a lesson out here on this, because I'd never heard of it before. There's NOVA and PBS stuff. But if you take off on a tour of something, or you start looking at a national park, and you spend 3 hours on that because it's so fascinating, you're done. Just a moment, please. You're done. You don't have to do one of each. Now, the AP thing, I would like it if you tried to do that, because I really want you to be able to get your credit. So you might have 1 hour a day already earmarked, but these others, if you don't do chemistry every day, okay. I just want you to do something. Yes, what is your question?
So would that count as like actual reading, not just sitting and reading fluff? But I have some Steinbeck I actually have to read for school.
That's it.
And like
yes,
World War
you
II
can
novel.
sit and read your Steinbeck. But
Okay.
if you're supposed to be annotating it, then you need to be annotating it.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be doing a paper on it, so if it's an academic reading for school, then yeah, if you spend 2 hours reading, great.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not trying to say you have to have school every day in every subject. I'm saying I want your brains active, so that if we have to shift to school, actual school, you're ready. But if you get to go back to school, you're ready.
So for reading, it's less the books that we normally read just like every day, more like actual like school-based books, not just reading our normal novels.
Not your normal novels and fun stuff, sorry. It has to be your academic ones. Your teachers should be checking their email, so if you don't have a book, contact your teacher and say, hey, I need a book, and if you want to talk to me about it or write a report about it, usually I can go find questions that are discussion questions, and we can have a discussion about it. That's totally fine. You can do that. Now, I don't want you just say, I did 6 hours of reading this week, so I'm done. We've got to mix it up a little bit. Okay, we've got to have some math and science in there as well, looking at a particular family member. So don't try and pull that on me. But if one day wants to be just reading, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Physical activity, I put minimum of 1 hour. Yours is your extra, so you're out of that. Minimum of 1 hour. They're really great online workouts. Other activity, you can go walking, bike riding, running, your own stuff is fine. You can break it up into smaller sessions. You don't want to go to an hour, great. Do 3 20-minute sessions. I want you getting up and moving some. Because even though you didn't necessarily exercise every day before, he's funny. Even though you didn't get up and exercise every day before, you were walking around the school. You were doing things. And here, literally, I find myself sitting in my chair for 4 hours straight and not realizing it. And that's not healthy for anybody. So we got to make sure we mix that up. And then you have your specialty time. Yours is activity and specialty, and yours is your music. So that's kind of what I envision for a schedule. I'm not going to be policing it per se, because I have a job to do as well for 8 hours a day. I would expect that before you have fluff reading, before you go hiking with friends, before you play video games, that these things are done first. Your academics, your music. Some of your music can wait till the evening. Don't wait till 11 o'clock at night to do your 1 hour of music, or I will have to punch you. Because I will be trying to go to sleep and get up and work.
Does the piano with the headphones in bother
That's
you?
usually okay.
Okay.
But don't save your hour for bedtime. I need to hear it throughout the day. Because if you save it for bedtime, then I don't know if it's just piano. And then it would just be piano, because I can
practice
hear
violin
you.
with a mute in your office. That's fine.
So whatever it is, I would like to see most of this getting done during the day. So similar to the way a normal schedule works, when you get home from school is when you have your free time, activity time. Yours is your extra dance time. Yours is video gaming or going and playing, tag or hide and seek or something in the park or whatever it is. I don't know. Climbing trees, frisbee, play your ultimate frisbee, although you have to touch it, so you might not get to play.
Just Lysol it every time you catch it. Everyone has a can of Lysol. It's great.
But anyway, so we just kind of have to figure this out. But I would like that these core activities are complete, and that can include your 20-minute talk with me about whatever it is you did. I can take a break and come talk to you about your whatever this is. So that's totally fine. So as I said, I do have a lot of resources that I went and found, and I tried to find ones that were geared towards older kids, because there's a lot of little kid stuff out there. So here's just a sample of the links that I found.
That's a lot.
That are geared towards older kids, okay? So Disney Imagineering in a Box, they actually talk to the people who create the stories and the themes. And how do you create a theme? Not just a story, but a theme. And then you take that and you have a story within that. And then how do you create a ride, or how do you create an attraction? And it's different lessons. And you're talking to actually Disney people who create these. And it's really great lessons on their language arts lessons, but they could also probably be design lessons and such. I didn't look at all of them. I looked at a few of them. So that could just be one of the things that you do one day. I want to go see how to do this. And you start at the first lesson and work your way down, and it's free online. The Yale Science of Wellbeing course, that's a great one. I don't know anything about it. I think I want to go try and do it at some point. But on the exact same thing, Coursera has a ton of free college courses. So if you're not sure what you want to do or what you want to be, or you might be interested in psychology or something, go out to Coursera. Find something. Read the syllabus. See if it looks interesting. And see if it's something that you can do or you want to do. Virtual field trips, there's a bunch of those. Brain Pop is where I found math and science. I think that's where I saw the stoichiometry. Google Earth is the national parks.
I love doing
So that one's really fun. Museum tours, those are the ones from museums all over the world. Here's your high school, like literal high school chemistry. I think this was the actual AP one. And this is another heavy in chemistry one as well for your chemistry class that you've been working on. Science, this is general science and more general science. If you want to get better at your grammar, this one is short stories that you read and you try and fix the grammar, and then we can go back and look and see if you can fix the grammar or not to get better at correcting your grammatical writing. I found some for French as well. There's 2 or 3 ones for French. There's not just Duolingo. There's another one out there as well. Are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing at Duolingo.
Duolingo's not too great.
No, but this one was good, and it has a whole bunch of different languages too. And then here's math, your AP course, more AP course, AP information. because it's not just, these are just helping you with your AP courses. It's not from the college boards. So it's other AP stuff. And then Khan Academy has links, like I said, for other courses and information. Usually I have a closing slide, but I didn't get to finish it because everybody woke up this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the other item. I'll go back up to the top so we have a background up here. The other item that I was going to talk about is,